Hey guys, it's definitely been a while since I made a last video, as you can see here. I know, it's been a long time. You know what, I'm making up for it, because you know what today is? It's September 30th, and that means tomorrow is October 1st. Gonna do my 31 Days of Fright again. I'm really excited. 31 different movie reviews on YouTube. 31 videos in a row. Yay! Because I don't have enough shit to do already. But you know what? I'm committed. I'm gonna state a few things other than before, like last year. Like I said, 31 days, 31 movie reviews. I am also doing reviews on my Instagram and Facebook. I do that every year as well, but they're written. And like last year's, if there is a movie I talked about prior on here first, so like if I talked about one movie on my Instagram or Facebook a few years ago, and now I decided to do a video about it now, I'm still going to do the written portion of it, but it's more of like a recap, and I'm also going to do a separate review specifically for my Instagram and Facebook. So you technically get two, or possibly more. Guess we have to wait and see, shall we? Well, yeah, I know it's a little quick introduction, but you know what? I feel like I should extend it because the new people, they need to know where I'm coming from, why I'm really doing this. So I'm going to play the same video as I did last year. So enjoy!
Yes, tomorrow is October 1st, which is the first day of my 31 Days of Fright, where I watch a random horror movie every day leading up to the big day, Halloween. I talk about the movie, give some random trivia, and I hope you get to watch some of these, because I honestly want your thoughts and opinions on them. Because isn't that what watching horror movies is about? Watching them together and giving your thoughts. This is actually my first time doing this on my YouTube channel, but this isn't my first time doing this in general. For the last 2 years, I've been writing my own reviews through my Instagram and my Facebook. If this is your first time watching this, give my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter a follow. If you're an old fan from my Instagram and Facebook days, I'll hope you like the new format. But I don't feel bad because I'm continuing to do reviews through all 3 social medias. Just so you know, I'm going to be making videos on some movies I already talked about on my social media. Well, you're in luck because the movies I already talked about, I'm going to write another movie review on top of the one I'm talking about on my YouTube channel. So for the people that just read them and not watch, you get 2 reviews in one day. Aren't you special? But you should still watch them because I'm going to go into more details with the movies that I already have talked about in the past. So for you noobs out there, here's the basic rundown of what I'm doing. Every day I'll be watching a new horror movie at random with no real theme. It's just anything that I think is interesting or I have seen before and I just want to talk about them so you guys can check it out. These movies are coming from the physical to the digital, and I'll try my best to share where I've seen the movies so you can have a good shot of trying to find it yourself. So with this being my first video of 31 Days of Fright, I feel that it's necessary to explain where I got this fascination for these horror movies, and where it all began. To answer this question, I have to talk about my background when I was growing up as a kid. When I was growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s, I had parents who would tell me that these kinds of movies are gross and they have no value watching. That you shouldn't watch these movies at all, kinda shaming these movies and anyone that likes them. Granted, I have watched some horror movies, but the classics, like Night of the Living Dead or Frankenstein, or early versions such as Tremors. Stuff in that nature. But if you grew up at this time, there were only 2 real ways to watching these kinds of movies. You either had to go to your local video store or Blockbuster, but if you had parents like mine, you had a very slim chance of them letting you watch these kinds of movies. Or like me, you just happen to be channel surfing on the TV and just happen to find the movie you've been wanting to watch by blind luck. And granted, I didn't grow up with a TV guide, so it was completely random if I ever saw these movies firsthand on the TV. So for me, this was the only way I could watch these kinds of movies. It was just by blind luck. But with this way, I wasn't really watching a lot of stuff, as I said before, at the time. I only seem to only watch Night of the Living Dead, Frankenstein, and Tremors. So fast forward to mid-October on a Friday in 2008. I was a freshman in high school, and I had to leave school early for a doctor's appointment. So when I got home, the first thing I did was obviously go channel surfing on the TV and just hope that I found something to watch. And when I started to channel surf, that's when I found it.
It's an invasion!
AMC Frightfest.
All you can do is watch.
October 23rd through the 31st.
That's right, AMC's Frightfest, a whole month of horror movies playing non-stop all day and night, except for Mad Men and later Breaking Bad on Sunday evenings. But non-stop horror movies? I'm in. I remember the first movie I ever started watching on this crazy journey was Jeepers Creepers, and I was hooked. I mean, they had everything, all the classics from the old to the new, and I watched all of them. This is how I got exposed to Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Exorcist, all the Child's Play movies. Granted, they were all censored to hell, but it was a great start for me to get into these kinds of movies. The other source actually comes from someone I was already a fan of for a while.
It's gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass he'd rather have.
Yup, AVGN or James Rolfe from Cinemassacre to be specific. And for being a fan for a while, I know he did his own special Halloween video game reviews, which coincidentally the first review I ever saw was the Friday the 13th episode, and we all know what he thinks about that.
Like puke up a donkey's ass! What a shitload of motherfucking bullfuck! I mean, I'd rather eat snot and diarrhea vomited out of a buffalo's dick and...
Anyway, it just happened that I found out that he did his own month-long horror movie marathon as well, Monster Madness, where he talks about different movies every day. Which he still does to some capacity, he just doesn't do it every day like he did before, but he still makes an effort to do a Monster Madness every year. That's how I found out about all these great movies such as The Tingler, Frankenhooker, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and way more than I can count. I also have to give a special shout out to Joe Bob Briggs, which gave me and a hell of a lot of other people the excuse to like and watch these exploitation films.
This chicken was not abused in any way by being cooped up. In fact, now that I think about it, we got the expression cooped up from chickens, right? Chickens live in coops. When we feel like chickens, we say we're cooped up. But we're also the first civilization in history to coop the chicken, then identify with the chicken by saying that we're cooped up, then decide that the chicken shouldn't be cooped up anymore because the chicken is probably exactly like us. Are you following this? In other words, we want the chicken to live an extremely happy, healthy, and carefree life right up until the moment when we hack its head off with a hatchet. I pointed this out to the waiter. He said, all of our chicken is free range. And I said, he doesn't look very free there on that plate.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about these great classics such as Tourist Trap, Blood Feast, and Pieces, and many more that I cannot name at this point.
These things expanded my horizons and just made me crave to look forward to the next horror movie. So that's where I came from, and essentially where I am now. I know these aren't the best reviews in the world. This is just a tribute. Just to show off where I came from, where I am now, and just hope that anyone that's watching, they give it a look too. Because tomorrow's October 1st, and we got a lot to cover. See you tomorrow. Wow. A lot of things have definitely changed since last year. You know what? It's going to be a fun year. Different movies, different type of tones, good shit. Alright, so I'll see you tomorrow with our first movie.